When you look at Florida, when you look at, Rick Scott right now is in the lead in Senate with 55,000 votes, and Gillum has been, it's been extraordinary.
Florida's a disappointment.
Florida's a real, because it's so tight.
Yes.
And because they thought that the top of the ticket would help down ticket. Look, there was a dream tonight for Democrats, which was that early on, they'd be able to say, okay, we won a couple in Virginia, we won in Kentucky, and this is going to show that this wave is starting and you can't stop it. Now, they can still win the House. I think it's probably more likely they will win the House than not. But they can't have. There's no tsunami. There's no tsunami coming. I mean, winning the House by one vote, by one member is enough for them. But there's a lot of disappointment that I'm hearing from people. I'm also hearing talk about recounts in Florida. Can you believe it? And lawyers going to Florida. So, this has to really play out. But the excitement, I think, is the cliche is the balloon is popping. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Lots of excitement.
Lots of excitement at your
Van?
Well, first of all, there are still people standing in line in Georgia. There's still people standing in line in Florida. This is not over. People need to stay out there and continue the fight. This is heartbreaking, though. It's heartbreaking. The hope has been that the antibodies would kick in, that this sort of infestation of hatred and division would draw a response from the American people, really in both parties, to say no and no more. That does not seem to be happening tonight. It's not a blue wave, but it's still a blue war. We've got to continue the fight forward. But I think that sense of helplessness that has really fueled a lot of this outrage and outpouring from Democrats may still be there tomorrow, even if we have the House.
Governor?
Yeah, I definitely think the outrage will still be there. The disappointment will be there, certainly on the Senate side. I'm not giving up on the governors yet, even the governor of Florida.
Stay in line.
We know that, I know, right? Georgia has not had Atlanta come in yet. But in Michigan and in some of these other races, in Ohio, I think there's still great hope out. Obviously, Pennsylvania, that Midwestern cluster of states. Wisconsin, we'll see what happens. So I'm still, my nails are still like clutching to hope that we can win, at least on the governor's side and certainly on the
more polls closing, obviously 36 minutes, Senator.
You can't have a wave election when both sides are energized. And ultimately, both sides are energized. This was a huge turnout election. I mean, everywhere I talked to all around the country, people were saying, we've never seen a midterm election like this, and it wasn't just Democrats. You lose when one side's energized and the other side's it. Both sides are. You got to give Donald Trump credit for energizing. The other thing that's really remarkable is that Republicans, where everybody I talked to said, we were outspent 2-3 to 1. The Democrats had all the money. They had all the media, and they still couldn't win it.
Right.
Even with the divisive figure of the president on top of the ticket. That is a message of solace to a lot of conservatives who were worried about this being a disaster.
And for all that talk about sort of the future of the Democratic Party and what the message is and how far left they should be, or
the message was just anti-Trump. The message just never got across.
I don't agree with that.
I think that was the motivating factor. The message on pre-existing.
So the question: Did the caravan ads work? The answer clearly is yes tonight, as you see, right? Whether you like them or not.
Let David finish.
Whether you like them or not, right? They worked. To just echo what Van had said earlier, Donald Trump is a Sebastian Shaw of politics. You hit the guy, he absorbs it, he gets stronger, right? Or Rick said, whoever said it. But you hit him, he absorbs it, he gets stronger. He's going to come out tomorrow. This is going to be a big win for the president.
Van, you were saying you disagree.
Well, I don't agree. I mean, listen, yes, there's a lot of anti-Trump at the top of the conversation. But on the ground, you had and still have domestic workers who are out there knocking on doors in Georgia. They weren't fighting about Trump. They were fighting about their ability to see a doctor. And on the ground, you had 1 million doors knocked on Florida, and those people were talking about health care and real issues for people. They're fighting for their lives.
People here on all the networks
hatred of Trump
is Trump, negative Trump. And what you said about, the antibodies coming out against race and bigotry. A lot of people just bristle at that because they support Trump, but they're not racist and they're not bigots. They don't like to be called that.
I got to get to John King because I want to follow this race in Texas right now. Beto O'Rourke with 107,000 votes now ahead.
Unpredictability, Anderson. That's one thing we saw in 2016. That's something we're seeing in 2018. We still have a ways to go, but we're now at 70%. Now it's 70% in the state of Texas, and the Democrat, Beto O'Rourke, is leading the Senate race. That will surprise a lot of people. One of the things that has happened recently since the last time we had the conversation is we got the first votes in from Harris County, which is Houston, and the sprawling Houston suburbs, one of the fastest growing areas in the country, not just in the state of Texas, 16-point plus of the statewide population. Beto O'Rourke running it up pretty strong. They're 57 to 42, and only 16% of the vote in. So if you're a Republican, you're saying, okay, this is Texas, it'll go back to its DNA. Maybe it will, but only 16% of the vote reporting in one of the fastest growing counties in the state and in the country. And guess what? Beto O'Rourke running it up. So you pull out the map and you look and you say, what are they doing at Ted Cruz headquarters? What are they thinking about? Where are our votes? A lot of them. These small counties, a lot of Republican votes. Don't discount them. In a close race, every vote counts. Even if you're winning 1,400 to 174, that's 33% of the vote. You look at Harris County, you say, oh, come on, that doesn't count. Well, it does count when there are 200 plus of them, and there are small rural counties in Texas. So you count them all. That's why they cast them. And there are opportunities for Ted Cruz here. But this is a very interesting map, something we haven't looked at in a very long time, a competitive statewide race in the state of Texas. So you come back in. I just want to check to see if the numbers changed. No. Harris County, Houston and the suburbs. Let's just pop down below it here. You start to get smaller here. But look, this is what I mean. This part of the state is growing. 2.5%, more competitive as you move away, right? Urban areas, big Democrat. Close in suburbs, big Democrat. Start moving away. That's the challenge. Can the Democrats keep winning as you move away from the urban areas? Beto O'Rourke doing what he needs to do there. The other big part of the state, Dallas County. Again, smaller than Harris County now. 9.4% of the state population, 63 to 33. We're talking about the Senate race. There's also a congressional district right here that Republicans think they're going to lose tonight, in part because of the Beto effect. Whether Beto wins or loses, pull it back out. You come down here, Austin, Travis County. Democrats have to win big here. It's not as big. If you look, 4.2% of the statewide population. Beto O'Rourke doing what he needs to do and he told people, you watch, I'm going to turn out more votes than you think I can. We'll see if he gets there in the end. But so far, he's doing what he said. Then you move down here again, San Antonio, another Democratic area, running it up. Pretty good vote totals there. And you come in and you could try to go back in time and look, how does this match up historically? Well, Ted Cruz didn't really have a race last time. You see all this red up here. But just remember, just look at the map and see all the red. Now you come here, there's more blue. Now there's still some gray. We got votes to come in, but there's more blue. This is Beto's home, El Paso. Only 3% of the state population, but in a close race, it's nice to run it up 75-25 somewhere. And we're going to watch. I talked about all the unfilled in gray up here in small rural Texas. We expect that to come in red by significant margins. The question is, what's happening down here in what you'd call Beto O'Rourke country next to El Paso? We still don't have any votes here. It's very tiny here. But you do have, as you start moving down along the border, I just heard David Urban talking about the caravan ads. No question, the focus on immigration anyway by the president did help in some places. As this Texas race is very close tonight, in these border areas, Latino areas here and here, you could also see the reverse of that in the state of Texas as we watch this one play out. Remarkably close, 50.6%, 48.7%, 51 to 49, 100,000 votes lead in a competitive race in the state of Texas, Wolf.
Very, very close. We've got some numbers to show the big picture in the House of Representatives right now, some encouragement for the Democrats. 31 Democrats right now are leading in Republican districts in races that are too early to call. Democrats must pick up 21 Republican seats. One cautionary note. 5 Republicans are leading in Democratic districts right now in races that are too early to call, but 31, they're leading in 31. John, where are they leading in those 31 districts? Because for the Democrats, they smell victory in the House of Representatives.
Part of it, I'll get to it in a minute. We don't know if this will hold up, but part of it is here in the state of Texas, where the Democrats are leading in 6 districts right now held by Republicans. That would be beyond the Democrats' dreams. Will they get 6? Who knows? But they want to pick up at least 2 in Texas. That tells you the Democrats in the state of Texas are on par for their math.